Hey friends, welcome to another episode. And if you're new to the show, welcome friends. Today, we're talking about fat loss for women. Because I'm a woman, I've had this fat loss experience and 3 diet mistakes that are keeping you from losing weight. Now, if you're like most people, you've probably been frustrated by your weight loss goals at some point in your life. You might even be at that point now where you're frustrated, you know that you want to lose weight, but keep getting stuck in that same cycle. You eat the same things and you're not seeing results. Well, my friends, today you're going to actually find out whether or not it's you that is doing something wrong or something else. And we're going to talk about what actually works in terms of losing weight and keeping it off. Now, my friends, if you've been listening to this show for a while, you know that I'm a macros coach, which is why I created Focus on the Fat Loss. Now, Focus on the Fat Loss is a macros coaching program, and I've got 20 spots for women who are serious about fat loss, not just losing weight, but keeping it off and doing the things that you need to do that don't involve cutting out carbs, don't involve cutting out your favorite foods, and don't involve restricting yourself and binging and doing the same things over and over again and not getting any results. So if that sounds like something that you are trying to get, then go onto the website vianutritioncoaching.co.uk/focus and sign up to the program. Now let us get into today's episode to find out the 3 diet mistakes that are keeping you from losing weight and what you need to do to stop making those mistakes. Hey friend, welcome to Lose Weight with Macros, the Basics podcast show with me, your host Verona, where I believe if you are the woman that you are struggling to lose weight, you're sick of crash diets, fad diets and gimmicks, and you are willing to do whatever it takes to get the results that you want, you are in the right place. If you're somebody who's overwhelmed by all of the conflicting information out there, you're confused about how much protein you should be eating, how to count macros, you don't have time to figure out your macros, and you're sick and tired of repeating the same old boring meals because it is exhausting, you are in the right place. Because, my friend, this Lose Weight with Macros Basics podcast is specifically for you. You're the woman who wants to learn how to track your macros and do it sustainably, do it in a way that you can enjoy your foods and you don't have to cut out your favorite foods, and we're not here for that. So, my friends, if this is you, grab your tea, grab your coffee, grab your water, grab your matcha, your notepad and pen, because today's episode is going to be a juicy one and you're going to need to take notes. So buckle up, friends, let's get it. Now, friends, this is a short episode. It's not going to be my normal 20-minute episode. It's going to be a short one, so we're going to get straight into it. Now, number one is you're not eating enough calories. Now, the most important part of any diet, now I don't mean diet that's restricting you from food in order to lose weight. I mean the diet and the way that you eat on a day-to-day basis. So the most important thing, well, one of the most important things is the calories that you are having on a day-to-day basis. But it is something that is also the biggest thing that is also misunderstood the most, because oftentimes in clients and people that I see generally and have conversations with, people who tend not to go on to be a client with me because they're not ready to be, you might think that you know how many calories you eat, and it's easy to underestimate or overestimate how many calories you think you eat on a day-to-day basis. But when you're not losing weight and you're standing on the scale and you're finding that your trousers or your pants or your clothes are just fitting you overall tighter, then that would say that there is something different than your calories. It is not as simple as calories in, calories out. This is what I need to do. I just need to cut out this. If it were, well, you wouldn't be overweight. I would have never been obese as I was, and I would not be a coach helping you here. Some people say, you know what, if you're not losing weight, you're gaining muscles. Not necessarily. Building muscle takes time, and you need to prioritize foods that you are eating. You have to be in a surplus, not a surplus that you are just overeating more than you need, because when you're eating more calories than you need, that's when we gain weight. But the key is if you're somebody who wants to lose weight and burn fat, one, you better join Focus on the Fat Loss. Two, the amount of calories in each of the foods that you eat matter, and the qualities matter than the number of calories that you eat. If you're somebody who's unfamiliar with calories, this is something that we will touch on in Focus on the Fat Loss. You can, of course, go to the internet and search the internet, but I would be advised a lot of it is overwhelming if you're not somebody who understands that. So the second thing is your meal timings. Now, when it comes to meal timings, I don't necessarily mean that you are eating in your 8-hour window. I'm not talking about intermittent fasting here. I'm talking about if you are a woman who wants to lose weight, then it's important that you eat the right type of meals. Now, if you go long periods of time in between meals, this is when we get hungry a little bit more, and then we tend to start to snack. We tend to start to snack in between, or we'll go and have another cup of coffee. That could be like the 5th or 6th coffee of the day, because we're not catching breakfast in the morning, because we're getting hungry and we need that quick pick me up of energy, you've got meetings back to back, whatever it is, whatever your lifestyle dictates to you right now, having copious amounts of coffee is not food. Now, it might sound harsh to you if you're a busy businesswoman and you feel like, you know what, I have only had 4 hours of sleep and I've got 6 coffees. This is not an accomplishment. This is not a brag on me moment that's doing your body any good. What it's doing is actually hindering your ability to lose weight, and it's affecting you more than you think it does. Now, when people are doing what they need to do to lose weight, they're following the principles that I teach in Focus on the Fat Loss. They're following those things and they're being consistent, which is why I wanted to limit it to 20 women. I would love to do it to 50 women. I'd love to do it to 100 women. But how many out of those 100 or 50 women are actually going to be committed to doing what it takes in order for you to lose weight? Now, my type of coaching is not for everybody, and I get that, and I make no apologies for that. I'm all for that. However, I am for the woman who wants to try. I love coming alongside women who are ready to try and are not in that victim mentality phase, because I was in that victim mentality phase and I started to get drawn to people who would feed that victim in me instead of challenging me in love, and instead of encouraging me to actually start to take the steps to lose the fat and do what it took to work hard to maintain those results. I was automatically attracted to women who kept me in my lowly victim state and victim mentality. And you're the same. If you're constantly going to women who emphasize and encourage you, telling you things that are not necessarily the truth about you, because they don't know themselves. They're only telling you things that they have done, that they've seen some results, but they don't tell you the full story and the whole picture. Fat loss done right is hella boring. It's boring. You've got to be consistent. It's hard work. You're not going to lose weight every single week. It doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you're a failure if you do not lose weight every single week. Now, when people are telling you things like it's okay, you're building muscle, are you actually doing the work that needs to build muscle? Because you can't build muscle without progressive overload. Progressive overload is slow as well. You're progressively overloading your muscle consistently through reps or through heavy weights. Now, I might have gone off on a little bit of a tangent here, but I want to clarify this and I want to clarify it good. If women are telling you you're building muscle and you've only just started, you've only 3 days in, you're telling people, you know what, it's been 3 days now, I haven't lost any weight, and somebody tells you you're building muscle, she's not telling you the truth. She's telling you some misinformation that she's believing, but what happens is that keeps you in your mentality, it keeps you stuck, and you're doing the same patterns. You're overeating, you're eating more than your body needs, and you're not actually taking into consideration what you're eating, and you're leaving too long in between your meals. Now, don't get upset. Don't get discouraged. This is in love, because I was doing the same thing. I was constantly listening to other women who are in the same boat as me, who don't want to work with a coach, who don't want to invest, who don't want to invest in their health. They want to do everything free, but they're not willing to do the work that they need to get done. You can absolutely lose weight on these podcasts alone if you are determined to put in the work. But the thing is, when we get stuck in that victim mentality, we feel sorry for ourselves. And there's only so much that people around you or people who know you are going to continue to tell you the same thing before they get done. They get fed up of telling you the same thing because you're not listening. And it takes you to make that decision and make that choice. Now, many of you are not going to get to work with me, and that's not a problem. Many of you are going to go to the website and be like, $299 for 8 weeks is too expensive. That's fine. If you're not somebody who's in that position to invest in yourself at this particular time, no problem. There were times where I was working and I couldn't afford the $299 up front. I made reservations. Where could I save money? Actually, do I need to have Starbucks coffee and the free traditional sausage bap every single day delivered to my house that costs $15? 15 times 7. If we do that now, 15 times, well, we have pounds over here. So it costs £15 a week. That was just breakfast. 15 times 5. That's £75 on a coffee and a sausage bap. I could buy a bag of sausages, freeze them, and I could make a sausage and egg muffin in my house. I could use that £75 or $75 and use that for 6 weeks supply of that breakfast. So when we are saying I can't afford it, it's too expensive, it's too this, in comparison to what? I've gone off on a tangent because I need to address this. Now, when sometimes, listen, I'm in the same world as you. I'm in the same world as you. There's been days where I've had zero in my bank account. I've been broke. I've had no money, but I've had to really check myself and get honest with myself. Where's my money gone? And the most place that it's gone to is buying fast food and going to spend my money in these places and Deliveroo. So £15 per day for 5 days a week, every single week. I did that consistently for 4 weeks. Times by 4, £300. There you go. Now, if you're in the same position as me, That is your investment to the changing your relationship with food and changing your relationship with weight in one instant in 4 weeks. Now we're starting on the 5th of September. We start on the 5th of September. So I've made this in light with all of what's going on, petrol prices. I feel it too. It's not just you. I feel it too. But at the same time, I've made this affordable for those who can. Not everybody can do $300 up front. So I've created a payment plan, $99 up front. Then you've got free payments of $77 afterwards. And there's hours of free training on the podcast. So this is a proportion in it to really get to, is it a case of you can't afford it really? That's fine. That's not a problem, because there are some people that aren't really going to be able to afford it, and that's not a problem. But if it's a case of I can't invest in it, but I'm still going to spend 15 pounds a week for people to go to a drive-through or to do whatever it is, or to go to Chick-fil-A, whatever it is. When Chick-fil-A is not open on Sundays, where do you go to get your fast food fix? And how much are you spending? Are you spending more than £15? I know people who spend £15 for one meal on their own. Many of you might have a supersized meal, then you're having nuggets on top, then you're having an extra burger. That could easily come to $15 in one meal. Then you do the same for lunch. Then you do the same for breakfast. That's $45 in one day on fast food. Now, when we look at things like this is how I teach as a coach. I cannot mollycoddle you and keep you stuck in that place. I can't do that because I've not been wired to do that. I want to encourage you to make positive change. And I know we've gone over and over and over, but this is a message for someone. This is a message for someone, and I know that you're going to get set free today. Now, if you are somebody who's spending that amount of money just in 1 week, just in 4 weeks, that's to say, right, okay, you can't join September, you join the next round. So you're taking $15 per day over 5 days and putting that aside. And you're the woman that says, I want to be one of the 20 next round. I want to be the woman in the 20. So I'm saving $15 per day for 5 days for 4 weeks. You've got that fee paid once and done, and you've got access to the modules for a lifetime. So any upgrades that I do, you're going to get those upgraded trainings for $300. So because the price will increase, but you guys are in the position where you can get this and get all of the goodies and access to live training with me over the 8-week period. So this is how I wanted to break down the pricing structure, because I've talked about focus on the fat loss. I talk about it a lot, but oftentimes coaches don't always share their prices. The reason why I've put it at this price is to make it affordable for those who can. If you cannot right now, that's not a problem. And if you know this is something you want to do, set the time aside, set the $15 aside. Do what Dave Ramsey encourages. Take an envelope. Do the 50-30-20 rule. Do what you need to do to make sure you invest in yourself. Now, coaching with me on a one-to-one is definitely not $299 for the 8 weeks, but this is something that you can start off with and continue doing and putting in the skills and the keys and the practice yourself, so you begin to get the results out of it. Now, when we break down things like that, this is how we can see where our money is going, but many of us don't want to address that because we're scared. I didn't want to address it because I knew my comfort was in that, and if somebody attempted to take that away from me, I would be forced to deal with the issues. But I had to deal with them. Because I was not happy with the way that I looked. Anyway, we've gone off on a tangent. I just really felt like I needed to address that. And I'm being honest and transparent with you. So you're not going to the website and then you're not coming into my DMs and telling me this is expensive in comparison to what I have actually did everything I can to make it affordable, because I want you to succeed. But this is an investment, and sometimes we don't have the investment. I'm not saying if you haven't got the investment, I'm not telling you to go and remortgage your house just to pay for this. Don't come and do that. That's not what I'm telling you to. I'm not telling you to go and get out a credit card or a loan if you haven't got money to put food on the table. Hear me well here. I'm not saying that. I'm saying for those of you who can, I don't need to convince you, but I wanted to address this money issue, and I wanted to show you there have been times where I have been broke, zero in all of my accounts, but there's something I know I really needed to invest in to benefit me as a woman, as a coach, as a Christian woman, and I made the sacrifices based on the things that I was spending my money on already. I had to get deep and dig deep into how much money do I have coming in? What is it that I'm spending money on? Oh, I've got this subscription. When was the last time that I actually logged in or used that subscription? Oh, I haven't done it in the last 3 or 6 months. Delete that. That saved another £15. Then, okay, do I need to have a Starbucks every single day and a traditional sausage breakfast? No, I don't. Okay, right. What can I do instead? Okay, I can make the coffee in my home. Then I'm saving another £15. These things add up. And as you saw with the total, I had that $300, or you can have that $300 in 4 weeks. Now, some of you might decide to use that $300 to do something else. I've given you something where you can take away and apply it into another area. You can apply that logic and you can apply that method to any area in your life which you are struggling with. But if you are somebody who's considered this and you're like, what, how much is it? How much is it? How much does your health mean to you? And I had to ask myself the same question. How much does it mean to me? I may not have the money up front, but are there other ways that I can do this to save for the next one? And most of the times, the answer you will find is yes, but we just don't know how to do that because we don't know how to address it and ask those questions. So those are the prices. Those are me being completely transparent for you. That's what it costs. We start on the 5th of September. There will be a cut-off time. So if you go to the website and you cannot click on to buy it, then that means that the doors are closed. And whoever is signed up, that's who signed up, and we're doing this round. So if you know this is for you, go and sign up, vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/focus. If you're new here, then this is how transparent and real I am, because I want you to succeed. So I've spent a long time talking about that and talking about meal timing. If you're spending lots of time in between, you're going to get hungry, and then that's when you're likely to snack. And the next thing is you're overcomplicating your changes that are going to last for a lifetime. You've been told that weight loss is simple. Calories in, calories out. So if you just eat less and you just do more exercise, then the fat is just going to melt off. But actually, that's not the truth, and it's not easy. Your body doesn't work like that. Your body does not work like tapping in numbers into a calculator. 5 add 5 is 25, and then that's what's going to happen to you. You are going to need different things. You're going to need things to have. You're going to need to measure your sleep. You're going to need to measure your stress management. You're going to need to do several things that we focus on, and everything is on the website. I've updated the modules so you see exactly what you're getting, exactly what we're working through, so there's no surprises. So for those of you who want to do this, you will, and those of you who are not ready, you know what it takes. You know the steps that you need to do in order to be ready for the next round. So when it comes to overcomplicating things, instead of focusing on what foods you can eat, oh, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, don't eat this, don't eat that, instead of focusing all of that, focus on what you need to do to make these habits stick. Next, the last one is sometimes losing fat is as simple as making a few changes to your diet. You could eat more protein, eat more healthy fruits and vegetables. Now, we know these things, but the issue isn't that. The issue is the advice that we tend to follow the most tends to be a list of restrictive things, and then we go all gung-ho in it, and then we find that, wait, this is too much for me. It's too much. It doesn't fit in my lifestyle. My family are stressing. I can't keep up with it because I don't know what healthy foods are best for me to eat. I don't know what times I should be eating. I run out of calories by 5 p.m. and then I'm really starving at the end of the day because I'm doing exercise, or I don't want to do exercise. Can I lose weight without exercise? How much food do I need to be eating? Lots of different questions, and you're constantly searching for things. You're searching for, how did so-and-so do her weight loss diet? How did this celebrity focus on her diet? How did he do this diet? Instead of focusing on everybody else, focus on the most important person, you. Now, you may struggle with that if you're a mum, because you are wired, you're hardwired to go out for your children and do the best for your children. But in order for your children to have the benefit of you, well, you still have to look after yourself, and that includes your health. So when you are doing these things, instead of focusing on what everyone else is doing, hone in on you. That's where I'm here as your coach, as your accountability coach, as your accountability partner, your wing woman, whatever you want to call me, as long as it's not a negative name. And I'm helping you learn how to do that. I like snacks, I like sweets, I like chocolate. I can't eat a lot of things right now because of the intolerances, but a lot of diet culture gets us to a point where we have to restrict those things. Listen, none of my clients have come to me and restricted foods, and I've given them a restrictive meal plan, and that don't happen here. Now, I'm not trying to tell you that you're not going to do hard work. You're going to have to do the work, because if you come to the end of the 8 weeks and you haven't got any results, I'm going to tell you straight, there's no refunds. Because if you've got questions, ask me by email, support@vanutritioncoaching.co.uk, and then we'll have a conversation. DM me on Instagram @VANutritionCoachingPodcast. If you're unsure, I am not forcing anyone to do this program. The worst thing is carrying someone and they don't want to do it. I'm not that coach to be carrying any woman who's not ready. This is me telling you honestly who this program is for. If you're done doing diets, then this is a program for you. If you're still umming and ahhing, it's not for you, and that's cool. You have to want this. You have to want this for yourself. I cannot want it for you. I want you to succeed, and I will help you succeed. I will do what I need to do to support you as a coach. In the group sessions, come in and ask your questions. If there's someone talking too much, Ask your question. Be bold. This is your life. This is your health. Be bold. This is your coin. This is your money. This is your skin in the game. Be bold. Come and ask questions. Don't dominate the group. Don't just be selfish and ask all the questions because it's not one-to-one coaching, but you're asking the questions collectively as a group. But don't be afraid. It's a supportive group. Whether there's 5 of you, 10 of you, 15 of you, or 20 of you, it's a supportive group. But don't leave those sessions having been like, shoot, I should have asked a question. Don't leave those questions and wait till next week and then be like, oh, I've not done what I need to do. I'm not seeing results. But I'm doing this because I want you to succeed. If you're doing these free diet mistakes that are keeping you from losing weight, it's time to do something different. Do something that you've never done in order to get something that you've never got. These changes that you can make can help you keep the weight off. We're not focused on just losing weight. We're focusing on helping you to keep the weight off. That's what we're focusing on. So if you're somebody who is serious about that, go ahead, focus on the fat loss is the program to join. vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/focus. But these things, these free tips, if you are doing any of those free things, focus on reversing them. There are ways that we can start to get the things that we want to get. Now, 2022 is the year to do those things. Don't by all means sign up to a coaching program if you know you cannot afford it. No matter how good it sounds, no matter how much you know you need it, download the recipe pack, do the meal planning, buy the food that you need to buy, and do the bare minimum. Go back to the episodes that speak to you the most and put in the practice until you get financially stable to join the program. Let me reiterate, I don't want nobody breaking their bank or their bank account to sign up for this coaching. I don't want anyone to go and take out a loan for $299 to sign up for this coaching, and yet your mortgage needs to be paid and your children need to be fed. I don't want any woman on this program, no matter how much you need it. When it comes to things like this, you have to spend the money according to your means. If you cannot afford it now, can you start to save up for it for the next round? If the answer is yes, absolutely save up for the next round. But I'm trying to help you sustain this weight loss. Hey friend, you made it to the end of the episode. What was your biggest takeaway from today's episode? Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review over on iTunes. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about today's episode, or you need help, then you can contact me over on Instagram at VA Nutrition Coaching Podcast, or email me support@vanutritioncoaching.co.uk, or you can head over to the Facebook page VA Nutrition Coaching Podcast. It helps us reach even more women who are fed up with dieting, don't know how to lose weight, they're frustrated with following Sally's results and they're not getting any of their own, and they just finally want to shed some pounds and do it in a way that they can sustain and they can enjoy. But my friends, that's a wrap for today's episode. I can't wait to catch you on the next one. Until then, friends, stay healthy, stay blessed, and remember, if you haven't already downloaded your 5-ingredient recipe pack, you can go to the website vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/recipes and download your 5-ingredient recipe pack. Who said healthy eating was boring? See you next time, friend.